Ascoleo. Good morning. I'm Reverend Tim Kutzmark, and I have the great pleasure of serving as minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Buenos dias. Good morning, and welcome. We welcome you all. We welcome you no matter your age, your gender identity. We welcome you sin papeles, y con papeles, with papers or without papers and documentation. We welcome you no matter your race, no matter your culture of origins, no matter your spiritual background. If you are part of the LGBTQIA community, you are part of our church community. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. This might be a good time before the service starts to just share this live stream with your friends so other people can hear this message and join this community of support and love. Just wanted to say that we received permission to broadcast from the sanctuary live today because, and we are keeping physically distant, but we consider and they consider the spiritual work we do in a community as essential and a social service. So, as the great Muslim mystic Rumi once said, "Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Though you've broken your vow 1,000 times, come, yet again come." In that spirit, as Chloe prepares to light the chalice, I invite us to take a collective deep breath in, and as you exhale, center your hearts and your minds for this exploration of love and community.
These chalice lighting words are from Lisa Doge. Why a flaming chalice? The question comes. It's the cup of life, we answer. It's a cup of blessings overflowing, a cup of water to quench our spirit's thirst. A cup of wine for celebration and dedication. The flame of truth, the oil of healing. Out of chaos, fear, and horror, thus was the symbol crafted a generation ago. So may it be for us in these days of uncertainty, sorrow, and rage, and a light to warm our souls and guide us home.
Our song of praise this morning is a beloved Unitarian Universalist hymn, Spirit of Life, Fuente de Amor. The lyrics should be appearing in the chat box, and we invite you to join in with us from our collective homes in this collective sanctuary we create together.
Blow in the wind. ¿Qué tal? Soy Danny. Hello everyone, I'm Danny. I'm the Interim Director of Lifelong Learning here. Today I want to tell you a story, and unlike most of my stories, it's not a folk tale, it's a personal story. And it goes back to when I was a young religious Unitarian Universalist, a YRUUer as we say. And we were all from Florida, and we made a pilgrimage up to Boston for a youth trip. And we were really excited because we'd never been on subways before, because in Florida, if you go under the ground, you get ocean. So we got off the subway and we're wandering around Boston, and it's later because we were getting ready to go to dinner and then on to First Church. And we got lost, and it started to rain. It was raining really, really hard. And it was already kind of cool because it was Boston, but the temperature dropped. It was probably below 50 degrees, which for a Floridian is sub-zero. And we were cold, and our director of religious education and our adult chaperones pushed us all onto a stoop to get us out from underneath the rain. And we were huddled all together in the rain, trying to figure out what direction we should go, if we should take one street or another street, because the organized blocks of Boston didn't make any sense to us. And it was raining harder and harder, and we were scared, and we were cold, and we were all too close together, and we didn't know what to do. And even the adults who were supposed to be taking care of us were frazzled. And then our co-chair, our youth co-chair, started to sing. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. And we started to sing with them. And as we started to sing together, we felt ourselves start to center and to calm. And we sang through it once, and then we sang through it again, and then we sang through it a third time. And as our voices came to an end, at the end of that third time through, we all just took a collective breath in and a sigh out. It was an unplanned, beautiful moment. And when I think back to my trip to Boston, which was very formative for me, all those many years ago when I was a young religious Unitarian Universalist, I don't remember the sights that I saw in Boston. I don't remember that experience of seeing big UU churches for the first time. I remember that it was a youth leader who called us into a moment to breathe. And when everything around us seemed crazy, it was looking to a young person who called us to one another and said, breathe together. That helped us get through it. And it reminds me that no matter what, and no matter who, as long as we remember to breathe with one another, we're gonna be okay.
I love that Danny reminded us the power of our breath and also the wisdom of our young people. So I invite us together in just a moment to take a breath in. What we're going to do, we're going to breathe in just a moment. And when we do, I invite you to imagine you're breathing in peace. And then hold it for a moment so that peace can sort of permeate you. And then breathe it out and breathe out love. So let's do that together. We breathe in peace, hold just a moment, breathe out love. And again, we breathe in peace, hold, we breathe out love. One more time, breathe in peace, just hold, breathe out love. as we continue breathing together in this sanctuary we create with our hearts and our sacred breaths, I invite us to let our minds drift back with that breath along the last week, the last 7 days of our being together in community. In the last week, where did you experience peace, paz? Just claim that moment for yourself and tuck it into a sacred place in your heart to hold. And as we breathe, knowing that we are connected by the very act of breathing together, allow your thoughts to drift back along the last week, the last 7 days, the gift that was and is your life. Where in the last 7 days did you bring love into the world? How in the last 7 days did you bring love into this world? Take a moment, claim that memory, and tuck that into that special place and carry it in your heart. Together, as we sit and breathe together, I know that our hearts are so full with joys and fears and gratitudes and sorrows. I invite you, if you're feeling a personal joy, gratitude, or sorrow, to just type that into the chat box so we all can hold that with you. We begin with a great sadness. Last night, Bill H., one of our beloved and longtime members, a leader of this church for decades, Bill H., passed into the mysteries of death. Bill H. was a great family man. He was a theologian. He studied the Jesus seminar that liberated Jesus and the idea of Christianity in a liberal manifestation. You could find him up in the Sierras, hiking. As we mourn his passing, we remember his beloved Betty, his wife and partner for so many years, and let us hold Betty and all of their family in our thoughts. We continue to hold Marty, Chris, and Timothy in our thoughts and prayers as they mourn the loss of their beloved Patrick. We think of those who are struggling or facing illness. We remember Laura and Karen and Al. We remember April, Sue. We remember those who it's just not easy for them or safe for them to get out of their house now, or they're living in a senior care center. We remember Linda S. and Nellie Ann, Robert, Glenda, Pat, Betty and Bill N., Ray. We also hold in our hearts this morning all those who are working in the medical profession, those who are working in the front line, saving lives, protecting lives, and risking their lives for us. We also acknowledge that this week was the Persian New Year, and we acknowledge the vibrant Iranian community that is here in Fresno, but also around the world, and their rich and beautiful culture of food and music and literature, and such an extraordinary appreciation of human-created beauty. You know, this morning, I'm also thinking about the choices that we make in our words The language we choose to use has power, and some words can hurt and lead to racist acts. When we refer to what is happening as the Chinese virus or the China virus, we are singling out one country or one ethnicity at a time of crisis. And according to our religious tradition, that is inhumane and that is immoral. And if you agree with that, could you type a 1 in your chat box? We should be calling this a universal virus that can impact everyone in every country. That we are all so vulnerable should remind us of our shared humanity, not our separation. And so this morning, for all that has been spoken, for all that has been typed into the chat boxes, for all that we hold in that sacredness of our own hearts, I light our candle of community. We light it too for all those who have no one to remember them on this Sunday morning, no one to speak their names with gentleness or kindness. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. This morning, we begin a new tradition. We light a second candle for all those around the world who have lost their lives to COVID-19. And so as we kindle this flame of memory, it burns for the 13,500 people who have already lost their lives to this virus. Our call to meditation. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Cuando respiro, respiro paz. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor. Please join in singing.
I'll give you a line, sing a line, and you sing it back to me. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe out love.
Cuando respiro, respiro paz.
Cuando respiro, respiro paz.
Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor.
Cuando exhalo, exhalo.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Cuando respiro, respiro paz.
Cuando respiro, respiro paz.
Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor.
This meditation bowl was handcrafted with skill and love in the 1600s in Tibet. People have gathered around this bowl and meditated to its tone for hundreds and hundreds of years. This meditation tone has sounded out in times of war and famine, pestilence and plague, and this meditation tone has sounded out through times of great good fortune, times of celebration, of bounty, and of blessing. And now today, it sounds for us. O Spirit of life, Fuente de Amor, God of our own heart's understanding, we give thanks. We give thanks that we're together, that we're here, that we're joined, breathing in love, breathing in community. We acknowledge that many of us are hurting. We're scared. We're unsure. O Spirit of life, Fuente de Amor, help us find within ourselves our strength, our courage, our resiliency, our fortitude, our sense of humor, our sense of play, our creativity, our kindness, and our hope. O Spirit of our life, O Fuente de Amor, be with us. Be with us. And so, we marked the beginning of spring this week. And I've been thinking a lot about springs past and those memories and where I have spent them. Last spring, when my friends Luis Fernando and Maria Helena suggested that we go canoeing on the San Joaquin River, El Rio de San Joaquin, I said no. Now, you probably remember that last winter, with all the snow in the Sierras and then all the snow melt, our rivers were filled to historic capacity. The amount of swift-moving water made it, for a while, too dangerous to be doing anything on them. We had to stay separate from that danger. Luis, Fernando, and Maria Elena's invitation to canoe came after that real danger had passed, but still, canoeing that weekend on the San Joaquin wouldn't be a lazy afternoon paddle. But as the weekend grew near, for some reason, I decided to go. Something I immediately regretted the moment we arrived, and I saw how swiftly that current was racing. Now, knowing that I was a novice, Luis, Fernando, Maria Elena, and another friend brought me up to speed on the art of canoeing, including showing me how to hold the paddle from the grip so I wouldn't hit myself in the face, because if you hold it here and you're paddling, you can figure out what's going to happen. Well, we pushed off, and within minutes, everything had changed. Everything was wet. Everything was wild. We were being carried by an outside force larger than ourselves. Everything was moving too quickly. Things were changing one moment to the next. Things were becoming worse one moment to the next. We were being knocked about. It felt like it was us against the unknown. We were in way over our heads, and there was no way we could get anywhere except riding the current, going forward. That sounds like us right now, doesn't it? Everything is moving too quickly. Things are changing one moment to the next. Things are getting worse one moment to the next. It feels like it is us against the unknown. We are in over our heads. There's no way out except riding the current and going forward. If this feels familiar, can you type a 7 in the chat box so we can see that we're not alone in feeling all of this? The great Rumi, that poet from Persia, once wrote, "If you put your hands on this oar with me, they will never harm another, and they will come to find they hold everything you need." If you can put your hands on this oar with me, the power that made the universe will enter your sinew from a source not outside your limbs, but from a realm that lives in us. Can we say these ancient words together? Just say after me. If I put my hands on this oar with you,
If I put my hands on this oar with you,
they will never hurt another,
they will never hurt another,
and they will come to find
and they will come to find
they hold everything I need.
they hold everything I need.
If I put my hands on this oar with you,
If I put my hands on this oar with you,
the power that made the universe will enter me.
the power that made the universe will enter me.
From a source not outside my limbs,
From a source not outside my limbs,
but from a realm that lives in me.
but from a realm that lives in me.
Two things got me through the fear and uncertainty of last spring's canoe trip. The first was, as it often is, the power of my breath. See, I was taught by wild teachers that our breath holds our prayer, our power, our strength, and our sense of being grounded. In that canoe, being hurled down the San Joaquin River, I somehow remembered to take control of my panic breathing. I began to use my breath to center and ground me. I began to use a breath meditation I learned as a Unitarian Universalist in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, not unlike the congregation that we all are this morning. On that canoe, I remembered, when I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Cuando respiro, respiro paz. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor. On that river, in that canoe, that's what I began doing, making those words be true. And I want us to do that together right now. What I'm going to ask you to do in just a moment is to breathe in, but imagine you're literally taking peace and you are breathing it in into every cell of your body. And then hold it and let your body absorb that peace, and then find that love that is within you, and then breathe that love out into the world. So let's do that together. Take a deep breath in. That's peace. Bring that peace into your body. Hold for a moment. Let it infuse you. Find your love, and now breathe that love out into the world. And again, breathing in that peace into every cell of the body, holding it, letting it permeate, and now find that love, and now breathe it out into the world. And one more time, breathe in peace, hold, find your love, and breathe that out into the world. This meditation, these words and the melody that are often sung with them were written by a Unitarian Universalist named Sarah Dan Jones. Sarah Dan wrote them 19 years ago, just days after the horrifying attacks on 9/11. Thinking about the origins of these words, she wrote, "I was so filled with despair, and I needed to channel that into some hope. Since that time, these meditation and these words have been used at the shootings at Virginia Tech. So you sung them as a prayer to bring peace and love to those impacted. They've been used in Phoenix as Unitarian Universalists were arrested for protesting the racist practices of Sheriff Arpaio. And last year, they were used in Charlottesville as a mantra against that hate-filled rally. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Cuando respiro, respiro paz. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor. Two things got me through the fear and uncertainty of last spring's canoe trip. The first was that mantra. The second was something someone reminded me of this week. In that canoe, being hurled down the San Joaquin River, I had to accept the fact that I could not fight the flow of things. I had to let myself be carried forward to where that river was going. But even if I could not fight the overall flow, I still had the ability to change the direction in the midst of it. Because I held onto that paddle on the top, which is the grip, and in the middle, I had the ability to make choices in the midst of the larger flow. I had power in the midst of that larger flow. Our personal paddles take the shape of many things. But as Unitarian Universalists, we have something that we share. We share religious principles, and if we hold on to them, they can guide our choice of directions in these new uncharted days as they flow forward. Now, the first of our principles is every person has inherent worth and dignity. Every person is worthy of respect. Our choices of direction in the days ahead can be based upon that belief. We don't make some people the other, the less than, the labeled, the illegal, the undeserving, the outcast, or the forgotten. We see each person as the precious being that they are. We treat each person with respect and with equity. For us as Unitarian Universalists, we also hold on to the seventh of our principles. We are connected to everyone and everything in this wondrous living web of interdependence. We aren't alone. And just as importantly, it isn't about us alone. We are connected with everyone and everything. The things we do impact not just ourselves, but everything. Our choices of direction in the days ahead will be based upon the belief, based upon that belief that we're responsible for the soul of the whole, not simply our self-interests. We are all one. We all need to act that way. We all need to live that way. We all need to love that way. My friends, if you put your hands on this oar with me, they will never harm another, and they will come to find they hold everything we need. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Something like a whisper saying, you don't have to be afraid. You are not alone in this moment. You are not alone in the battle you face. In between the light and the shadow, all on your own. 'Cause you are not
understand that some folks are wanting to see my Sunday socks, and I'm going to show them to you soon, but first, I got to ask something from you. First, I want to remind you, the mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, it's to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud, y trabajar por la justicia. In order to make this mission come true, in order for us to be able to live into that mission, we need your support. We need your financial support. To cut to the chase, we need your money. Now, the staff the last week and a half has been really working hard. We've taken our brick and mortar church and turned it into an online sanctuary. And I got to tell you that lately, over this last week and a half, our income stream has really, really slowed. So I have to ask, if those of you who are members and friends, if you could continue making your pledges, please, we would really need you to honor that pledge if it's possible. And if you are just discovering this vibrant community of love, would you consider making a first-time contribution? Now, there's a couple different ways you can do that. If you have Cash App, you can send that support and offering to us using $UU Fresno. That's $UU Fresno. If you want, you can go to our website, www.uufresno.org, and once you get to our homepage, you're going to see on the left, there's something that says Donate. And when you donate, hit that button, you're going to have a chance to give your offering from your heart through PayPal, or use your credit card through PayPal. You also can do it the old way. You can write us a check and drop it into the mail using the address that is available on our website. Next week, we will have the capability for you to be able to text your contribution to us from your cell phone. So friends, we really do need your support. Please share to keep our community of love alive. So, before we extinguish the chalice and have our closing words and our sung benediction, a few things I want to share with you. First of all, for those of you who are feeling a need to help, there's so many ways you can help in these days. But if you're able to get out and give blood, there is a desperate, desperate need for blood here in Fresno, here in the Central Valley, in California, and in this country. And they've said it in a way that you can be safe and give. So please really consider that. I want to thank everybody who voted this week to pick Rev Tim's Sunday socks. And for that first ever vote, we actually had two winners. We had our hot pepper socks and our spring flower socks. So for the first time ever, I wore on the left side the hot pepper socks, and on the right, I have the spring flower socks. So thank you to everybody who voted, and there'll be another chance to vote for next week's socks, so keep watching Facebook. Now, after the service today, we're going to invite you to join us for social hour, coffee hour in Zoom. A link is going to appear sometime soon, and we're going to ask you if you want to join us. Hit that link, and you're going to end up in this big Zoom room, and then we're going to break you into breakout groups. We've never done this before, so be patient. We're not going for perfection. We're just going for creating community. And if you're going to join us in coffee hour, just type a Y right now in the chat box if you're going to join us in coffee hour. If you are new or newish to our church community and you just have questions or you want to understand more about who we are or find out how to get better connected, we have a new email, connections@uufresno.org. Connections at uufresno.org. And now I have to ask you one more thing. If you haven't already, could you share this worship service with your Facebook friends so that we share this message of hope and love into the larger community? I want to give a shout out to River and to Megan. Thank you for lending me the paddle before we had to shelter in place. And if you want to know what's going on in the church, just go to our website, www.ufresno.org, and you'll be able to find it there. Danny, the amazing Danny, will be back in 5 minutes with family time, but now we are going to have our chalice extinguishing from Chloe.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
I invite you to take your hands and just gently place them on your precious heart for our closing words and then our sung benediction. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And that pure light that is within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.